Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to my YouTube channel, Heart Collects Comics. I'm Andoni, doing my first video for 2016. And I did the last video was probably a little bit before Christmas, so there's some time has passed. I have a whole video to do, some mini reviews on a few things that I've read since I last tuned in with you guys. Show off some other books that are a little higher quality and grade that I'm happy to have in my collection, and then also some slabs, some graded books. So, wishing all of you the best in 2016, and we'll get started. I got a haul from one seller on eBay and got a few things that I had wanted for some time now. I've never really read a lot of Alan Moore. I know that he did Swamp Thing and a slew of other stuff, and he's very popular, regarded as a very good writer. So, got the first set here, first 6 issues of the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, a book that he worked on and ended up becoming a movie. This is an awkward cover, so it doesn't show too good because it's red and black only. This collects issues 1 and 2. It says Volume 2, Issue 1 and 2. I guess there is a Volume 1 before that. I probably would have tried to get that instead because I like to read things in consistency, but I don't really know what the Volume 2 really means. I'm still going to enjoy reading it. I saw the movie, big fan of Sean Connery. This is issue number 2. And I like the movie. Had some good special effects. Again, I'm a Sean Connery fan. I don't think the movie did all that great, but I enjoyed it. And so, knowing that Alan Moore wrote these, this is issue number 3. Definitely look forward to checking it out. And if you guys have by chance read any of these League of Extraordinary Gentlemen stuff, feel free to post your thoughts on it. This is issue number 4. Number 5. This is a pretty cool, kinky cover. Looks like something was going down there. And then last issue, number 6. That's another thing I'd be curious to know. Does it stop at 6? I'm not really sure. Was there an issue 7? But I'll find out eventually, I guess. So through that same seller, I also got some other stuff. I've always wanted to get my hands on Marvel Universe, kind of like a guide A to Z on all the superheroes. And I know there were a couple of series. I have this one here from 1985. It's a deluxe edition. I got the first 7 issues. And I'm happy to have that, kind of find out details on origin and first issue appearances. These were also cool double covers. And it looks like I got issue 1 to 7, and it stops on Magneto. So I have a few more to get. This is, again, the deluxe edition, number 2. Number 3 here with Daredevil, Doc Ock, Dr. Doom. So these are a nice little handy reference to have in your collection. Next con I go, I'll try to pick off the rest of them from Magneto to Z. It's number 4, Nick Fury, Dormammu, or however you say his name. Number 5, Hulk, Hercules, Hobgoblin, Hawkeye. I think the one before this was from 1982, but I don't know how much of a difference it is, this being a deluxe edition. They're pretty meaty, actually. It's quite a few pages, but you know the drill. Leonidas, different characters, breakdown on each of them. And then last, number 7. So I'm happy to have these. I got a good deal. This guy, Atlanta Picker, who I got these from, they have a lot of make me offers, and so I always will buy more than one, and I'll state that in the notes, making offers on more than one item, so this way they consider my deal since I'm buying quantity. And he agreed to all my offers, and the last 3 here is, if you guys watched my last video, I've been really getting into the series that started in the late 1970s, Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man. And these issues here, Frank Miller did some of the drawing on these, starting from, I don't know, issue 27, I think. And this is issue 54. This is a cover by Frank Miller. you can tell right away by the usage of the samurai swords. He always dug the samurai swords. I don't think there was any Frank Miller involvement in this, number 45. But I'm trying to always get numbers that are consistent. And this is also a cool cover by Frank Miller and, pardon me, Wysek. Second appearance of Jack-O-Lantern. A really, really funky cover here. This is issue number 46, again by Frank Miller. So that was that haul there. Also wanted to do some quick reviews. Pardon me, I'm also a little under the weather. I bought this a long while ago, and I never got around to reading it. The Death of Captain Marvel. No, it's not a first printing. I know that those go for quite a bit. This is a third printing, and I never got around to reading it. And then there's another YouTuber, Punisher88, that does really cool reviews on certain books. And he had some great information, a very enthusiastic review, spoke very highly of this. And I already know of Jim Starlin's reputation, especially when it comes to things Thanos. So, and this really, really was a fantastic read. It really well written, beautiful artwork, as you can see here. These were some of the bad guys that Captain Marvel faced during his day as a superhero, as a warrior, as he calls himself. And it's Captain Marvel with a hyphen. But I ended up putting this at the top of my reading list after I saw Punisher 88's great review. I highly encourage everyone to read this. This is a fantastic story. And you see some of the other superheroes in the Marvel Universe and, you know, their kind of stance on seeing him die. They all come to pay him a visit. He is on the planet Titan, where Thanos is from, and they try to help him medically while he is there. But the cause of, and I won't get too much into too much detail so you can read it on your own and enjoy it, the efforts by the great minds like Doctor Strange and Mr. Fantastic, Beast, smart scientists who are also superheroes, they couldn't find something that would help him. So big shout out to Big Punisher, Punisher88, for that great review and encouraging me to read this after not having read it for so long. Another review is on a book that I saw in my local comic book shop and I just immediately glanced over it. I didn't really know what it was. Black Knight #1. And just kept on going. Black Knight vs. the Avengers. And I learned of this series from a great YouTuber out there who also has a strong presence on the Facebook and Twitter, the Comic Pulse. And they do some great videos. This guy there that's a tag team between a girl who's, forgive me, I don't know her name, and another guy by the name of Brock. And he does a lot of speculation videos, kind of has a good ear to the movies and what's going on behind the scenes with Marvel Universe and getting certain properties back from Sony or whomever, Warner Brothers. For example, I think Taskmaster recently became back into the fold for the Marvel Universe. There's potential talks that we might see him down the line, if I'm not mistaken. But in that video, he did a speculation on an Avenger book. I want to say Avengers 57, but don't quote me on that, where it was one of the first appearances of the Black Knight. And this is a market, according to the Comic Pulse, where Marvel doesn't really have a foothold anymore. Conan is no longer really being written. And they don't have a sword and sorcery kind of a thing, a Game of Thrones-ish kind of a deal. So this guy here, the Black Knight, his name is Dane White, if I'm not mistaken. He wields something called the Ebony Blade, and he's trapped out somewhere in Weird World. Issue 3 just came out. The Avengers are looking for him because, I guess, over time, this blade is starting to corrupt him, and he has some things to answer for. And he basically gets ready to take on Steve Rogers, Deadpool, Human Torch. This is the Uncanny Avengers, if I'm not mistaken, that is making an appearance in here. Yes, the Uncanny Avengers. Some beautiful, witty lines from Deadpool that you come to expect. Some sword and sorcery for people who like that kind of stuff. I encourage you to check it out. I totally dismissed it until I saw the Comic Pulse's video. Their speculation was that possibly this is a character because of his ties to the Avengers and Marvel launching a brand new series with him, that perhaps he might turn up down the line. So I didn't get the spec pick that he recommended, but I did decide, because I'd already seen it in my local, and I decided to give it a go. Another book that I read, I'm going to make a very strong recommendation. If you like comic books, I strongly encourage you to check out, if you're not familiar with, Reed Fleming, The World's Toughest Milkman. This is absolutely fantastic. It's a thick volume from IDW, written by a Canadian fellow named David Boswell. These kind of got their jump off in the late 70s, early 80s. Initially, they were just comic strips of Reed Fleming, the world's toughest milkman. And this dude likes to smoke joints on the job, drink rye whiskey while he's delivering milk. Totally badass. It's a different kind of comic book reading. I come from a superhero enjoyment of comics, but this was recommended to me by this friend of mine online named Andrew, who runs a really cool Facebook page called CGC Comic Fans. You should check it out if you're someone that likes grading books. Check out this group. A lot of good collectors in there. But he's a big fan of Reed Fleming, and he recommended this to me, and I'm so glad that I read it. I devoured this. Very fun and exciting, different kind of comic book reading. Next, a few things. As you guys know, I've been hunting down Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man issues, and I got this beauty here. First appearance of Cloak and Dagger, issue number 64, right? 64? Yes, 64. Covered by Ed Hannigan and Al Milgrom. These guys, I think, are underrated. They did some fantastic covers. This is an absolute beauty. With shipping, I got this for less than 20 bucks. Probably a 9.0, 9.2, but I got it in Mylar, and I haven't read this one yet, but I'll get to it eventually. Next two I got from the same seller, Amazing Spider-Man 252. The first time that, in this series, that Spider-Man dons the black symbiote costume. This is a little bit lesser quality, 8.0, 8.5, but I've been wanting this in my collection, and so I'm happy to get it. Main reason why I got it was because the seller was also selling this, and this is an absolutely fantastic quality copy. Spectacular Spider-Man #1 with Tarantula on the cover. But this is maybe a 9.6, easy. There is a little tick in the spine, nothing crazy, but a very high-grade book, and so I got this along with Amazing Spider-Man 252, pardon. So those were some recent books that I picked up. Next, I had a few of these, and then I got a few more. Wolverine #8, and I got #7 as well, the one before. It's a 2-story story arc with the Grey Hulk, aka Joe Fixit, and that's really why I got it. I really like the whole swag of the Joe Fixit. You know, these beautiful 2-piece tailored suits. He's got cash on him. He's strong, like you expect the Hulk to be. And Wolverine currently in this series is not Wolverine. He's actually Patch. And the world thinks that Wolverine is dead, so he's not really even using his claws, and he strings the Hulk along to kind of do his biddings in a way. Very slick, very suave, the Wolverine, and you know, this is one of my favorite covers because I don't know what it is. It's a simple cover, really, but these guys in the suits matched up like this. I ended up getting a slab copy too, 9.6 white pages. But you know, this cover's awesome. John Buscema, Chris Claremont's story. The story's good too. Again, I really dig Joe Fixit, and Wolverine's pretty badass, as we all know. From that same seller, I also picked up this. Got a good deal on Peter Parker, the Spectacular Spider-Man, #27, with white pages. And this is first Frank Miller Daredevil art. This is a great story where Spider-Man loses his vision, and needs Daredevil to help him fight off a guy by the name of the Midnight Marauder, who's launched this like droid bird that's about to, implode somewhere in Manhattan. Spider-Man is not only blind, but it's really taken a blow to him mentally because he's not sure if he's going to get his vision back. Heavily relies on Daredevil, who plays the awesome wingman in this, and then it goes on to issue number 28. And there's also another bad guy trying to get at Spider-Man who breaks into his apartment named the Carrion, and anything that he touches turns into ash. And when Peter just starts to get his vision back at the end of the issue and he parts ways from Daredevil, he goes home, and he's got to deal with this crackerjack. But again, Bill Mantlo did some fantastic writing, and this cover I wanted in graded format as well, 9.4 white pages, because I like the issue, and also it's the first time that we're seeing Frank Miller draw Daredevil. Second to last slab is one I was talking about earlier. This is a CBC slab, 9.6 white pages, The Avengers number 196. First appearance of Tony Masters, aka the Taskmaster. And I've always wanted this book. Sometimes raw copies are going for a lot. I got a fantastic deal on this. There were like 4 or 5 different 9.6 CGC slabs that I was looking at, all of which were well over 200. One of the 4 were over 300. And then I worked this guy down because I bought another slab, which I'll show in a second. Because I bought 2, I got a fantastic deal that I couldn't pass up. Way under $200. And sometimes it pays with eBay to talk to the seller beforehand as well to try to work something out. If you are polite and courteous, and say, listen, work with me. If you're getting more than one book, a lot of times they will. Maybe sometimes they won't, but I got a good deal on these 2 books. And this last one is a Silver Age. Captain America 114, 9.2 grade, and beautiful cover by John Romita. You can see here his signature on the side. This has off-white pages. Story by Stan Lee, John Romita and Sal Buscema art on the inside, and then a Captain America awesome cover by Jazzy John Romita, who's one of my favorite artists. This is a book that I got for under $100. 9.2 Silver Age book from 1969, and I couldn't be happier. I think this guy was just really trying. I don't know if it had something to do with the holidays or whatever, but I can't believe that I got a 9.2 Silver Age. I mean, this isn't necessarily a key issue in any way. It's a great cover, but still, you don't expect to get books over the 9.0 range in good quality, already graded, for under $100. So I was very happy about that. So that's pretty much my YouTube video. Check out Reed Fleming, the world's toughest milkman. Check out Black Knight if you're into sword and sorcery type stuff. Check out Punisher 88's channel. He does a lot of great reviews. He was the one that kind of lit a little bit of a fire under my butt to read Captain Marvel, a book that I've had for a while that I just never got around to reading. I'm glad that I finally did because it turned out to be a superb read. So that's my video. Stay tuned because in the near future I want to do my first contest video. I entered AG Surfers not long ago, and hopefully we'll enter some of your contests down the line. But I have some really cool prizes that I've already started to put aside for a contest, one of which is a Fantastic Four Treasury comic book. This was the second Treasury comic book that Marvel did in the early 70s. It's an oversized book. So this will be one of the pieces along with a number of other things. So stay tuned to my channel. Please subscribe. Please like. And again, I wish you guys all the best in 2016. Thanks.